mistake. It should be mistake I did. Not listed. People don't. Audio, videos. Click. Hey John, stopping by. Give me a second to stop, and I'll. Doing fine. Shai Kumar. Fine. I'm tired. I just did work. Started working at a studio yesterday. So a lot of sculpting in the next weeks. Looking forward to. Michelle. Right. Yeah, I think it's coming quite nice. We'll probably do some overall adjustments of the proportions today. So we're looking forward how it will further develop. Mass, how are you doing? Good. Yeah, like I said, I started my new job yesterday. This will last for, I think, 1.5 months. I'm a freelancer currently at a small studio, working on a commercial and political project. Pretty lucky to get the chance to work on. So I'm looking forward to the next weeks. And if I ever missed it on the last stream, I just finished my diploma. So I officially graduated last week after 6 years of studies, and that's still haven't digested it yet. So yeah, I think it will take a while or for me to realize that I'm done with university and done with all the education system, official stuff, and now I'm heading into the workforce, or whatever you might call it. So happy about that. Now I can do more sculpting, and yeah, the big project is done. Thanks everybody. Thanks for the threads. Let's see. John, you said that you have problems sculpting the mouth and lips. Maybe we can do a small demo at the end, and maybe that might answer some questions. Remind me if I forget it, but I think it could be a nice ending to do a small study of the lip. Yeah, I can show you my approach, talk a little bit. Oh, Michelle, is it better to work with or without perspective when sculpting a human body? I think I would, if you're trying to measure the proportions in a like with 8 heads or in a more objective manner, like precise measurements, then it makes sense to turn off the perspective. Otherwise, since we're so used to seeing humans in perspective, it sometimes looks really weird sculpting a human in orthographic view, make it look like we're used to, and then switch on perspective, then it skews the whole model. So for faces, I would leave perspective on. Use the authentic feedback. We're just more used to it. Ready? Draw or being out of university just means that you have no more excuses to. Yeah, that's true. But now I have more responsibility because I'm responsible for paying the bills, yeah, maybe one day support a family or something. So I have to get into the grind of work and earning money and stuff. Yeah, at least I don't have to starve anymore, which is fun. Thanks, Saverio. What did you study in your university? I studied animation. It was a more practical kind of approach in the university, so it was all project based. We don't get any, or we didn't get any instructions on how to use software. We didn't have any tutorials or lectures on technical stuff. We all had to teach that ourselves and yeah, learn from online resources and stuff. So it was more learning by doing, and then we got feedback on the projects itself. So it was more yeah, advices and stuff, but not yeah, homework stuff. So we never got any homework. We had to give that to ourselves. So it was nice to have a framework where we can establish our own structures. It was really beneficial. TNTN Gaming, great day to you. Quest. It's good that you know that already. I think it will help you to put all the puzzle pieces together. But I can show you the approach later that I use that I find helpful. So it's good to have a foundation knowledge in place already. Hey Stevens. Nimentex, this live session will be so helpful. I hope. Can't promise anything for today, but yeah, I think we will make progress. Give it a more shape, kind of a hybrid of a skeleton muscle thing. ST. My first tablet was delivered today. I'm still a little confused. How long did it take you to get familiarized? Because I'm lost. I know that feeling. It was the same for me as well. Try not to focus on getting pretty results in the beginning. It's like learning how to hold a pencil for the first time. Takes a little bit of time to disconnect the hand motion to where you're looking at. Yeah, since you're staring into a completely different direction than you're used to when you use a pen. So it will take some time, but yeah, try to focus on, I don't know, seeing the progress that what I did in the beginning was to first make sure that your tablet mapping is set to force proportions, so that the distance that you're making horizontally translates the same as vertically. So sometimes it gets mapped when I use like two monitors, for example, it gets mapped so yeah, the aspect ratio isn't the same on my tablet and on my monitors. So then you get some weird distortions in your movement which don't feel natural at all. So make sure to enable that, that you force the proportions on your monitor and tablet. And then I opened up Photoshop or Paint or Krita, whatever works for you. And then I did like basic drawing exercises, because the barrier in the beginning is that the stroke that you want to make is not the same that ends up on the screen. So getting familiar with lines in the beginning, I think, is a good exercise to speeden up the process a little bit. So yeah, just you want to have more exercises for that, look up some drawing fundamental tutorials, how to get proper line work. This will maybe be helpful for you to get more familiar with the tablet. Shukret. What do you think? Which program is better for 3D modeling? Like I said in the other streams, it really depends on what you want to do. You are more into hard surface stuff and more into low poly modeling, game character stuff without high details, then I would prefer Blender. But yeah, they're not really that comparable. So if you're more into technical stuff, go for Blender. If you're more into the traditional mediums, more into organic forms, then I would suggest Zbrush. But try Blender first if you don't want to invest money in the beginning, because Zbrush is quite expensive if you're just starting out. So Blender is free to use, so I might just give it a try. So yeah, like just to talk a little bit about the plan today. I want to change a little bit the overall proportions. I think the body or the torso from the side view is a bit too thick, so I will try to shrink it down a little bit, make it a bit slimmer, and then add more muscles, mainly on the back, for the shoulder blades, biceps, so shoulder area, other back muscles as well. So yeah. Can I find fundamental of modeling a body? And that's a broad question. I think there are a lot of tutorials out there already, and what you want to have as an approach, if it's box modeling or sculpting. There are a few tutorials on the basic proportions there. Just search modeling tutorial, body modeling tutorial on YouTube. There should be some results. Zbrush is the best for organics if you're in it several weeks to get the years in your while sleeping. That's true. If you're at that point, then you know that you're putting in a lot of effort for sure, and it should give you results. And as always, for anyone who has any questions about the current state of the model or what I did in the past, what I'm currently doing, so if you have any questions, just let me know, and I will try my best. And for anyone who is interested in the first live streams where we started this from scratch, we started it from a sphere, so all the bones, everything that you see here is done on stream, and you can get access to the live stream archive to my Patreon account, which you can find in. Also have a Discord channel where we share our work in progress stuff and other stuff that I do as well, which isn't available for the public yet, which I'm currently working on, and I'm sharing my reference sheets once they're organized. Elaborate a bit here. Just for an explanation, I'm using PureRef, a free software that you can download. It's a great tool for gathering references and yeah, building up your own library. So I collected some for the muscles and trying to focus to make muscle. And this reference sheet will grow over time, so it will hopefully be a great resource once we're to the whole body. So, but add more. Change the old to transpose master. T-pose. This will combine all of the subtools into one mesh. It will select the lowest subdivision level that is available, combines everything together, and then tweak it. Makes it way faster to tweak overall. Netrit, do you have your creations on ArtStation? Not all. I do have a few on there, but I have to update all of my portfolio stuff, websites, and ArtStation stuff. So yeah, there's some old work that is not published on other platforms. So yeah, maybe that's it. And there's an older echorche study that I did similar to this one. I did two in the past. They're both on ArtStation as well. And compare the program that is of interest for you. What I will do as well today, which I started doing at work, and I was inspired by Blender because it's all shortcut based. I'm doing some shortcuts on some brushes. So for the clay brush, I'm using 2 as a shortcut. For the damp standard brush, 3. And for the move brush, I'm using the 4 key. So if you want to do some of your own shortcuts, you can do that by holding down Control and Alt, and then click on every button that you want. And for example, for Solo, I can hold down Control and Alt, click on it, and then you can see on the upper left corner the instructions of pressing the combination that you want. And for me, I'm doing Control S. This will save the HUD. So I have 2 for clay, 3 for damp standard, and 4 for move. And it helped me to speed up my workflow, my workplace. So I will try to implement. Does Zbrush have pie menus? I'm not sure about pie menus, but they have custom menus like this one. This is a standard default custom menu, but you can customize it yourself and where you want to put it in there. So I haven't dived into the customization of the UI yet, but this is probably something that in the future. Crit, I want to be an animator. Which program should I learn? If you please give me some advice. If you are just starting out, I would suggest actually with starting with Blender, since Blender is getting used more and more in the industry, and especially when you start out, you will probably get opportunities, or your first opportunities will be in smaller studios, probably, depending on how good your portfolio is at a certain point. And more smaller studios switch over to Blender because it's a free software and it is capable to do the production quality that most smaller studios are at. So the community of Blender is really good and really helpful, and there are tons of resources out there. If you're looking for more professional software to get into, or the one that is more established right now at the moment, in bigger studios, it is Maya, Autodesk Maya, and most studios use that for animation. So yeah, but I wouldn't focus too much on the software aspect, since when you know how to animate in 3D, software doesn't really matter, because the tools are easily learned in other softwares once you get a hang of it in one. So you know how to animate in Maya, you know how to animate in Blender very quickly, and vice versa. So just yeah, search for the software that speaks to you, that feels comfortable to use, that excites you, that makes you want to dive more into the subject matter, into the subject, and just go from there. And the rest will come from applying for certain studios or looking for opportunities and seeing what software they are using. And the transition for animation from one software to the other is really fast. Nitrit, what is your usual modeling pipeline in Zbrush? Quick answer would be starting from really simple shapes and then going over into larger shapes. So I like to start from spheres or other primitives like cubes and stuff, and then really roughly block everything out in with Dynamesh, and then more details onto. If you're interested in like how do you say it, time-lapse video, I do have a few on my channel. The typical workflow for me for individual objects like the head, for example. So, and as I said, the body feels a little bit too thick from this view. Try to flatten it. Like, could have decimated some of the models. This is where the transpose master really comes in, because otherwise I would have made or would have been forced to do all the move changes, the proportion changes, one by one for every subtool. You pain in the butt. Thick. Yeah. Make it more elegant portions. That's why I'm making it thinner. For a male anatomy study, it would have been fine, but I'm going more to a female study here. Stevens, yeah, I started with Z-spheres in the beginning as well. It was a great tool before Dynamesh came out, because it was the only way to get more complex face meshes. But I found that since Dynamesh is there, it's just faster and more intuitive for me. But these spheres are pretty strong as well. I used them for quite a while. People are doing really great stuff. Didn't you post the references for the blockouts on our Discord channel? I think someone thought it was you. And there were amazing blockouts just with primitive shapes. The hips. A bit more natural, if any. So that in place. Plug in post sub D. Always fun to watch. Feels like doing more work, but so that is in place. I think I will start with the neck muscles. Sorry, my computer just started to. The fan started to blow louder. Get the mic a little away from the. So. Oh. Screaming at the moment. I hope it doesn't affect the audio quality too much. Metrid, what method do you use for posing of creatures? If it has, or if it consists of multiple objects, then I would use the transpose master like I just did with the skeleton here. And other than that, I will use the transpose line, this one here, then do masking and rotation with that, and then a cleanup pass after that to fix the bad deformation. Are the legs too long, or am I seeing things? I'm going for more heroic proportion relationship. I don't know how to say it. So it should be like 8 heads tall, more or less. So we can quickly measure that by drawing out the transpose line from the top or bottom of the skull. That. Then go to preferences, and under transpose units, we can calibrate that distance and set it to 1. This way, you can see here on the top left corner, unit says 1. And now when I'm going to draw out line for the full length, it's at 8.9. So I'll shrink it down a little bit for the notice. Let's go back into the T-pose mesh. So yeah, this the thing when you work on it for so long, especially when it's more public, then you start to don't see. Santiago, hey, I'm doing fine. How are you? Got back from work, started a new job yesterday, and I graduated last week. So a lot of things changing at the moment. I mean, since the pelvis area is in the middle of the body, I think I will just scale up the head to change the proportions there, in order to, or instead of fixing the body itself. Please. Maybe this was. Let's check it again. We commit to the changes. We'll draw out the transpose line again. Go to preferences, calibrate it to see how. It's 8.2. I think it's fine for purposes. It was way too small. Bigger. Maybe I will go one step higher. But I should make sure to check the symmetry, which I didn't do. So again. The thing is with changing proportions, when I look at models for too long, and then change it to a correct proportion or better fitting size, then it really looks strange in the beginning. But yeah, I think I need to get or like to force myself then to ignore it for the first few seconds and then jump back to my old model just to see if that looks strange. And now for me, at least the head feels really small, really tiny, which it didn't do before. This looks more natural. Thanks for the feedback, Draw. Hour. Humans can have weird proportions. Basketball players have gigantic leg arms. It's true. I think this is where the strength of learning the average human comes into play, because then you see how people differentiate from the average. So this helps for exaggeration. You know how the average human proportions are, and you look at a reference of a character that has shorter arms than average, you can exaggerate that by making the arms even shorter, or vice versa. But I'm not going for any specific character here, so I will probably stick to what feels right. And now the head feels better than the tiny one here. Funny that you don't notice that. Or I didn't. Let's see. Check the measure. This is just, I don't want to be too dogmatic about it. I want to be roughly in the 8 heads unit, or yeah, measurement here. I think this heroic feeling. Now it's 7.9 units. See it here on the top left corner. That feels better than the. Now it looks strange. Go to T pose to sub 2 again. Santiago. It's like I said before, I haven't digested it yet, that I'm done with my education, or official education at least. But I'm glad that I found work to get a smooth transition. Yes, I will start with back muscle here. For that, I'll have tube brush. Give me a base. References. Start with the infraspinatus. The largest, draw a line over there. Height. what I'm doing. So the insertion point of the infrastructure is ridge here, scapula. This goes almost bottom. And with all the muscles, it's thinner, I think. So I would more like to use the transpose line and draw out the angle, which is perpendicular to the model. So I can use the move function here to flatten it. Gives just a really quick start to have the muscle in place. And it connects to the top of the humerus. Put it. That small detail here. Helped it. Hit. To rename it. I don't get confused. It starts to add up after some time, so 32 subtools already. No, you are breathtaking. Can't make it as authentic as the original, but yeah, I'm doing this all because of all of you, because you watch my stuff and it seems to help you out. So I'm glad that I can share what I'm doing and that it helps you. Like, really means a lot to me. Thanks everybody for joining today. Thanks for everyone that subscribed or watches my stuff and comments. It's the reason why I'm still doing this after years. Geometry and do a mission. Readers. Thanks, Juan. What's up? I'm really looking forward to Cyberpunk as well. I was so hyped when I saw the first trailer like 20 years ago, or when did it came out. Graphics were cool, the storyline and the setting, and exciting about that. So yeah, now that the first demos are out, I'm really looking forward to what the game can offer. The Project Red is always delivering on their games, so high hopes. Not too high, I don't get disappointed, but I'm looking forward to checking it out. Place. Let's just duplicate it. The topology is fine for that. I should up reference for the Aries minor. add it to reference library. And it seems like the insertion point of this more on the side of push it over. Yeah, like a study like this consists of doing one muscle after the other. And it helped me to make the overwhelming task of anatomy a little bit simpler and more fun to do one object after the other. But it's a long process. It takes a while to complete a study like. Let's do a split. There's minor. Infra. There's minor. There's major. There's split. So I will hit this one. Covers the leftover bottom of the scapula. Hey, fellow human, what are you doing? The teres major is for the upper bone. There is, and this library is growing. It looks angulus superior, probably superioris. We'll add just the and always the main thing with muscles is the insertion and the insertion points where the muscle starts and where it connects to. So then you know how what to look for when pose changes, and you know where the connection points are, then you're good to go. this gap here, the triceps, one of the tricep heads going in. Teres major, teres minor, let's get it. Also, let's do the supraspinal. Hey, Marie, Cesar, just stopping by. Chess. I haven't seen the iClone software yet. Yeah, I'm really curious what AI and machine learning will do in the future, especially for the creative industry. I hope there will always be a demand for handcrafted things, like pottery, for example. Everyone is buying stuff from IKEA and stuff, or machine made plates. But there's still value in handcrafted things, so I think, or I hope, at least in next, I don't know, 50 years or so. And after that, human artists will still prevail, but there will be a lot of changes in the commercial industry through that. But yeah, I think the most valuable thing is the story, human experience that people want to convey with their art. And yeah, you're not impressed by a car that is going 100 miles an hour, but you're still impressed by a human that can run like 30 miles or 20 miles an hour. So even though we have machines that are far better at certain things, we still value the human achievement. So I hope that this will translate to art as well. So, Cesar, I'm new to anatomy, and can you give me some advice how to start and learn it correctly? Just start with what captures your interest the most in the beginning. If it's too much, then try to reduce it down to what you want to get good at. If it's purely anatomy, I would start by doing really simple shapes and try to get a feeling for the proportions. A good way to train that is to do drawing tutorials on human construction. So starting with spheres for the head, for example, doing the Loomis method or the Riley method, which is a bit more advanced. And yeah, look at, for example, manga artists that break down the body into really simple shapes. Great way to get a feeling for the body. Then you can expand it to more realistic stuff like the study here. And yeah, if it interests you, start with the skeleton, start with the skull, for example, because it's the foundation of how our body is constructed. And yeah, try to make the process fun. If you find that you don't like the process at all, it doesn't give you energy, if it doesn't motivate you to put more time and effort into it, and try to change the process and find something that works for you. Try 2D or 3D, digital or traditional stuff. Yeah, whatever makes you stick with it, if this is what you want to do. This applies to just sculpting as well, even the 2D aspects. So For me, 2D is a tool, and it helps to answer some questions faster that would normally take a lot of time in sculpting. So yeah, just give a few different approaches a try and see what sticks. Then yeah, if you fall into a comfort zone and don't make more progress, then this is another challenge in itself. But I think it will take a lot of time before we'll hit the barrier. I wanted to done with directly on top of the scapula. Very welcome. What I find really interesting about anatomy is that the more I learn it, the more I understand more about my own body as well, especially like movements and how the body functions, which I'm really fascinated by. That nature can come up with, like, yeah, like a complex feature like us. The deltoides is visible again. Or a lot of stuff is covered by the deltoid. I always switch from, I don't know, the English descriptions and the Latin one. I learned it from different sources. There's one intersection or one separation. I'm not quite sure if it's within the same muscle or if it's different. Should be just the infraspinatus. So I will do a quick separation with. And if the music is too loud or anything, let me know. I wanted to do another shot here. I'd like to be able to switch the back face masking on and off again. I'm using click on back face masking, holding down Control and Alt. I will use Alt B combination shortcut, especially when I'm dealing with thin objects here. As you can see, if I sculpt on one side, the other one gets distorted and messed up. So now I can just hit the Alt B and it will toggle back face mask where I don't have side. And it's covered by the deltoid. Oh, you did anyway. Everything's packed really tightly together. Feels like the arms are maybe a little bit far in the front. The teres major is going back, so a flat by smooth. Probably have to pull it down. Doesn't look as funny as. See that there's a slight gap if we look from the back. Small gap here. Wind. I thought the stream was cancelled today because the one I came to was like 12 seconds long only. Sorry for the confusion. I started the stream without, how do you say it, setting up the link to the stream that I scheduled for today. So the thing is, I always have to link the software that I'm using to the stream that I scheduled on YouTube. When I forget that, then it automatically starts a new stream, and this is what I did today. I forgot to put the link, and this is why I stopped first stream after 18 seconds. And it also had the old title of Sculpting in Blender, so sorry for that. But glad you made it despite the wall hiccup. Better. Cool. Done. This one first. Let's get to the long. Serratus posterior and the serratus posterior inferior. I always try to make the streams as smooth as possible. So it always bothers me to get something wrong. So trying to be these muscles, they should be on top of the ones that we already have. Yeah, see here. The serratus posterior inferior is on top of the muscles that we are already. It's good. Save us. I think I will do another. reference. On which ribs it connects. Should be to the last four. Four here and to the first four. So last and first. 3, 4. And it goes from the last two thoracic vertebrae and the first two thoracic vertebrae. Looking at this one, starts from this to we are really small right now, or thin, but by toggling the backface masking of the brush, you can actually really quickly make the things thicker. Because you're not affecting the other side, you're not pushing and pulling everything together, but affecting one side. Really easy to add things. Here I'm using the move topological brush, so I can adjust one muscle after. Pushing them. Up. The other muscle. They connect like in a it's like a stepping or a staircase pattern here. Try to mimic. Both one. Hidden. Girish for stopping by. Push these here close, covering the vertebrae. Far in, so the vertebrae stick out a little bit, lightly on top of them. Barely covers it. Intro book. To work as 3D character artist, should you know anatomy, skeleton in general on very high level, or basic and intermediate should be enough to start. You don't have to be an expert in anatomy to get a job. You can, I think, even with basic understanding of anatomy, you can find a job. The most important thing is to make clean shapes, I think. They don't have to be complex shapes, they don't have to be realistic models, But if you have clean work, then it's suitable for production. So it can be used for a short film or for print mediums and stuff. So even if you have a really complex model, if the shapes are clean, unclean and wobbly and uneven surfaces, and the silhouette is not defined, even if it's the most complex character, it will not serve needs of a customer. So yeah, try to focus to make clean work you're looking for, or if you're trying to prepare a portfolio, this will, I think, heighten your chances of getting a job. So don't focus too much on complexity and quantity in the beginning when you're building up a portfolio, but more on quality and clean work. And you can do stylized stuff as well. It really depends on where you want to go to which studio. So if you want to go to ILM, for example, then you will definitely need to do realistic stuff. And in the beginning, you probably won't get the exciting jobs or the exciting tasks. Even if you're at a big studio, you will probably start out by doing props and cleanup of senior artist stuff like UV layouts or topology stuff and prop work beginning. Then you will learn everything that studios. If you want to get a more generalized overview of the whole production of how a movie or game is made, then look for smaller studios. They will most likely have a wider range of tasks for someone that starts out. The angle is not. There's more placement of revival. Get that. Be used as a base here. Here I do it hidden. They are called status area. And here it's called gratis posterior. Introbug. I don't aim to work on AAA projects, but like working characters selling. You're then you're competing with people that are really high level. Not sure if you're looking for freelance work or AAA projects, but if you're looking for selling assets online on marketplaces like TurboSquid or like that, then if there are similar objects already in there, you have to look how you can compete with the quality. Because when it comes to production, yeah, studios would rather spend a little bit more money on a really well crafted asset than on a cheap asset that is lower in quality, and then they would probably have to put in more time and money to clean that up. So yeah, just see if there's a niche or some objects that are not that popular there can then offer. Maybe this is good. Y-axis upside down. Here I'm using the transpose line with the move tool to like it is the same approach bottom where the cervical vertebrae go into the thoracic vertebrae. Originating below that. Go on the neck muscles or neck vertebrae and go on the cover the It's good to break it down into like really small projects and just do through or go through one project. So doing a soda can, yeah, good idea. Going through these here and be hiding them, so I can place the muscle properly. Seems like it starts on the third rib. Quite a bit longer. Three, four. So there should be two vertebrae. Seems like there's a fifth. Five strings of muscle here. Correct. Irish. That's something that we brainstormed last stream about. I think I will do that in the future. I will probably make it maybe a tier on Patreon, like a critique tier, and I will maybe do a dedicated stream on that or a video. I'm not quite sure. Maybe excuse me, maybe a video. I can do some sculpt over. I think this would be a great addition to resource for people that start out. thing with sculpt overs is that they will take quite a bit of time on my side. So I have to see how I can manage to do that besides work. Other stuff. I think it will come in the next week or two. So stay tuned for that. Now that these are in place, clean these ones. Bit of area here on touching the lower side of the rib. Sharper appearance. Try to come as flat onto the can. Otherwise, I build up too much volume, and muscles here are actually quite thin. See that quite a lot of space left here as well. I like to push the models or muscles in too far. See the underlying shapes and forms. Barely cover them. Have huge gaps. Build a lot of volume. We'll delete the placeholder stuff here, so I can more easily toggle all the subtools on and off. Get used in the project. Let's save it. One. We'll do the serratus anterior next. This muscle here. And then I can do the latissimus dorsi on top of it. Try to build the study from the inside outwards because of the layering effect. Yeah, I think it's easier to keep an overview. Let's see. Do the curved tube snap here. Get the curvature going in the beginning. Just select this one rib, draw a line. twist here. You can twist the curve by holding down Control and Alt. This way, fix any weird issues that are going on. You have to click first and then activate it by Control and Shift. Otherwise, you can't do that. It doesn't have an effect. So first, click on it, then hold down Control and Alt. Rotate curve. Make it, give it the thick. I will do it really thin again. 7. Then I can use the backface masking on Zbrush again. Volume. The inside of the scapula. I won't make it perfect, but basically yeah, connecting here to the inside edge of the scapula. But since I will never see that part, spend too much time on getting that working properly. I hope it works properly, like don't have to get perfectionist. These are going from origin first 8 to 9 ribs. Cover more ribs there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Let's make 8 copies of. I'm trying to use a large brush for the brush size. Really big changes. Avoids messing up the form. Drawer, yeah, that would be the next step once we're done with all the muscles and stuff. But this is a whole new topic. All the organs and stuff. Would be nice to do like a art or something at the end, just as a addition to the study to breathe some life into it. But I think this would blow the scope of the study. I think I did it once, adding all the, or not all, but most of the internal organs. But it was quite a lot of research and a lot of sculpting. You could also add all the blood vessels and stuff. I saw people doing that with all the veins and arteries. But this goes more into medical illustration than practical anatomy study. So if you're into that, go for it. Really exciting journey, but a long one as well. Did unmasked point. Rename this. Other than other groups and other group. Other groups and mirror and weld. We mask one side, we also mask the other side. If I don't do mirror and weld, then select one. It's asymmetrical, becomes asymmetrical. That's so both sides have the same polygroups. Goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Go down. Yeah, hard surfaces. Easier, well, not easier to control, but easier to judge if you're doing a good job or not, I think. But I don't know, hard to compare. Hard surface modeling is really labor intense as well. Getting a good feeling for hard surface design is, I think, equally hard characters. Just depends on what you're interested in. Topology isn't that good, then smoothing sometimes becomes a nightmare. So, judging from the reference here, it seems like the fourth one that sticks out the furthest. So from here on, push them towards them. Further back than before. It's like closer to the ribs, the area here. Go. Now that they're in place more, start with adjusting. I will use the move topological brush with the back face mask turned again, so I can quickly change the fiber. Faster to the reference. Trying to look for overlapping muscle tip. Trying to clear. Like I created one. Sometimes happens. Give it. Goes into the ends. To the this is not you. What we can do now is to shape the silhouette a little bit, and I will turn on the backface masking again, where I can control the volume more easily. Maybe it was a little bit more volume here. Another muscle again. Trying to shape. See if we can adjust the Licos externus a little bit. Close the gap there. Reference. Maybe I will leave it for the streams. I think actually goes into the touches those. Quite sure. We'll look at that. We'll do that. This is just guesswork. And the purpose of a study is not guessing anymore, but actually works. Click here. I'll leave it. I think a bigger muscle will do the trapezius neck. Will define the silhouette even from the view. I really like the shape of this muscle. There's a real form to it. It's quite complex. Covers so many different areas. Many muscles are beneath it. And since it's quite complex, I think I will block it out with primitive shape first. Here again. Roughly here. A quick sculpt of Sador. Bye. And this is like someone asked but what my typical approach is, and it's using Dynamesh in the beginning to make a really rough blocking of the object that I want. In this case, the trapezius muscle, and I go from there. The beginning right now. Gives me more tighter base. Zbrush in the base. Sculpted the model. So the fibers go from. It covers 1/3 of the clavicle. Or for the live video. For all of you. Always fun to just chat and hang out with you. So, ready for. Next to the top part of the spine of the scapula. Cover that part here. Fairly far down. Slide over. Papers to the first lumbar vertebra. Quite a way. cover. Is the same thing that I did before. Take away much material, so the underlying surfaces stick through it. Then I can lightly cover them, where I will have layered effect. See here a little bit as well that there's a shadow from the scapula underneath it. Ability. I have to push the spine further into the rib cage. Apparently sticks out too. Back and forth of what I want to stick or affect the surface area. How much thickness do I give the muscle, or how much do I let of the underlying forms go through? Follow the I should fix the thing with the line first. Otherwise I build too many new objects on top of it. Just makes it harder. Go back to go through the subtools and see if there's one that is extremely high poly. Just to reduce the polygons. Zbrush has. And since everything is based on Dynamesh anyways, the topology isn't that precious. I can go through all the high density meshes and decimate them. So going from around 450,000 points to 90,000 without losing any detail. You can see the before and after. Doesn't really make a difference on the I'm just switching with the arrow keys from one subtool to the other. Complete. For example, it's 700 10,000 points. Way too much for complexity of that mesh, so we'll reduce it down as well. So see, I don't lose any detail. Quite heavy in general, but it's way too much. Reduce it. I have to stretch a little bit. Sculpting the whole day for the stream here as well. So, quite sculpting, setting intense as well. Those masters. What I will do is to go to the or through the mesh. Let's try out a few things by increasing the focal shift and the a bit raw. And a brush. With a board. Gives a good result. Bigger brush. Now when you look at or look at the model from the side view, the spine isn't like sticking out of the silhouette. Probably get a bit of to the looks funny for this. And if you compare it to the we had before, yeah, it doesn't. Subtle difference, but I think important one. Those two. Quickly take a look at the vertebrae, see how they got affected by it. Still doing fine. spine looks fine in itself. So change. Oops, got things still lines. Still the rough blockout. So that we have the basic form here. Mask out the area that I want to keep. To get a sharper mask, I subdivide it one more time. Clean outline. Checking if sharpening to post the paste. Follow the version scapula. A cleaner model. Down, raise the mask. That I have or press Ctrl W will make the mask a new polygroup. Get better here. Hide everything else. Go to modify topology. And now that I have that, and go to. I like the details that I have already, so I will update it. And I will zero measure. Go hit half a few times. Border is not moment, so by groups. Inboard. See how better. Get in place. More time. That in place, I can subdivide it a few times and quickly do a reject. Do a free subdivision levels. Model a brush to give it inwards. Go to the properties and flip it. where I have the normals on the side. Let's see if it works or not. Subdivision level. Voila. Without the borders, action happened. That are trapezius. Visible again. I think I won't continue too long for today. 8 hours before that. But I will do the quick blocking for the lips, just as a small anatomy tip. John asked that in the beginning. I think we did manage to make some more progress here. Definitely starts to take shape. Really enjoying the process so far. I'm red for the subscription. Here. See, I think the vertebrae here, they stick out far. Move then. Thanks, Iki3 for the follow. This way they don't take so much out of the silhouette. Better. Wider here on the bottom. Front wheel. Nicer silhouette for the neck. So we're coming to an end. I think we'll stop the anatomy study here and jump into another project, or new project, to start mouth. Just a quick blocking of lips. I don't know if John, if you're there, just let me know so I can answer your questions. Otherwise, I will just do a quick run through of how I do sculpts, mouths. Or let me show it here. Just insert a mouth for the skull that we have here. That I'm going to get a sphere in symmetry mode. Shrink it down, basically the size of the muscle for the mouth. it from one side. So I have like a cup put on top of the teeth. Stretch it, covers the mouth area. This is the like one of the main things to make lips look good is to get the curvature in there. So the lips are not on a flat surface, but they wrap around the teeth. The shape of the mouth is determined, was heavily affected by the teeth. So this is where knowing the skull comes in handy as well. If you know the shape of the maxilla and the jaw, teeth in general, then you have a good starting point for the mouth as well. Let's see with transparency, covering. Give it a bit more volume to have flash to put that in place roughly. Measure. Oh, here I'm done. The more common use case. What I establish first in the beginning is always to have the dividing line between the upper and lower lip. For that I'm using damn standard. I cut in there fairly deep, using a fairly large brush size for that, till I hit the teeth. And then it's about separating the planes. So the bottom of the corner there's a small indent as well. So it plane right. Basically like a puppet mouth in the beginning, since the lower lip wraps underneath the upper lip, plane it like that. So block out the lower lip, and if you look from the bottom, the upper lip goes over it. So this is why I'm separating the planes here. There's some kind of a triangle here. There are two large tubes forming underneath the, exaggerating here of course, underneath the lower lip. That in place, I will define the outline or the sharpest point of the upper lip. I like to use the damn standard brush with a fairly big brush size, and Z add. So I'm holding down Alt. You can see the small minus on the cursor. This way I don't cut in, but I add to sculpt. of an M shape, very wide M shape. Okay start. You look from the side, there's an angle where the lower lip is aligned. So right now the lower lip is going out too much. We'll tilt it back in, take away a bit of volume. So that there's an I added much volume. Oops. The contour of the lower lip isn't as sharp as the upper lip. Same method. Outline. There are some more complex shapes here involved. Take a little in everything. I think a good view to see if you're doing well or not is the view from below. And if your mouth is looking like this, then you know you have to put in more of the curvature of the underlying teeth. And if the lower lip covers the upper lip from this view, then you know that you should push the lower lip backwards a little. Angle in. But cleaning up the shapes. Oh, one more important shape is a small little bulge on top of here. Like a duck face right now. But this is basically where a lot of muscles of the face meet. So they create a small bulge point. Some muscles come from the cheekbone and jaw. They all connect to that point. Because we control the corner of the mouth in a lot of different ways. So all the muscles meet. Yeah, basically how I approach mouths. If there are any questions left, ask them now. I will end the stream soon, just so I don't overlook any questions. Homer Simpson right now because there is no notes in place. Lower lip. Small valley here. What I sometimes do is to smooth everything out a little, so I clean up the surface. Redrawing the sharp detail. separate the lower lip into two shapes. Shape here. That. The upper lip is divided into sections on average. See currency. Actual skin on top of it. I think this will make the end for today's stream. I hope you learned something or got some motivation out of it, or just killed some noise in the background while you're studying, whatever you're doing right now. Yeah, thanks everybody for stopping by, for joining today's stream. Had another successful stream, more progress on the anatomy study here. Starting to take more and more shape. I think the proportions are a bit better today. And yeah, all the small intricate muscles on the back are, I think, now covered. And the next stream will be more about the larger muscles, cover more area like the latissimus dorsi and then the arm muscles, and then moving on to the. So yeah, a lot more to come, a lot more to do. But on Sunday, this Sunday, I will continue with the troll. No, not the troll, the ogre that I started a few weeks ago. It was saved up. And where is it? A troll. So pull that away. And this is the troll that I will be sculpting on Sunday. So Sunday, the same time again, time slot. And the aim for this model here is going to print it as a small miniature in addition to my other miniatures that I did. This, for example, was the goblin that we sculpted in Blender, and I wanted to make a companion for him, a model in my collection, and hopefully another interesting model for you to enjoy as well. So this will come on Sunday, and thanks everybody for joining today. If you're interested in the recordings of all of this, make sure to check out my Patreon page. There we have a Discord channel as well, where we are sharing our current work in progress stuff, and yeah, more and more people are joining. Very exciting. So if any of my patrons are currently in the stream, thanks a lot for your support. It really means a lot, and makes me really excited about next stuff. We'll probably add some other tiers soon. Probably the critique tier, so I can do sculpt overs of some of your work that you're doing. And yeah, really excited for the next stream. Till then, have a great day or a great evening. Thanks everybody for participating in the chat and stopping by. So take care everybody. See you on Sunday.